The manga starts with Hiroki Watanabe explaining what happened to his father, a painter who had a strong passion for his art and didn't care much about anything else. One day, he vanished for 3 days. When he was found, his corpse was mummified. This traumatized Hiroki. He was just a kid when it happened. To mummify a corpse, the area needs dry, clean air, no bacteria, and ideally 3 years. These conditions weren't possible where his father was found. The fact that it happened in 3 days made no sense. His father's death remained a mystery. We see Hiroki riding his bike to school, thinking about how he doesn't want to go. His thoughts distract him. He almost hits someone. He looks up and sees his classmate, Yuki Sasamori. He's never talked to her, but it turns out she takes the same route to school. Lately, people in class have been talking about her ever since the school year started. Hiroki has nothing to do with her. They're worlds apart. While pedaling, he hears something familiar. Yuki is singing a song from his favorite anime. He's surprised she even watches anime. Excited by her singing, he forgets he's in the middle of the road. A honk snaps him back. He looks left and sees the infamous Truckun, ready to isekai him. He wonders if this is it. Is Truckun about to send him to the Shadow Realm? Someone presses a button on a watch. The truck freezes, time stops. Hiroki is stunned. Yuki calls out, asking if he's hurt. He says he's fine, still shaken. With an expression like he just saw death, he asks what just happened. Yuki starts explaining as they walk to school. Turns out she found a watch with a note inside. It said if you wind it up, time can be stopped for 20 minutes, 3 times a day. Hiroki found that suspicious, so did Yuki. But she couldn't stop thinking about it, so she took it home. She gave the knob a tiny twist. Time stopped, for about 10 seconds. It freaked her out, so she didn't touch it again. But when she saw him about to get isekai'd like this ditzy girl, she moved without thinking. He asks if the watch is real, how come he was the only one who could move. She doesn't know either. Maybe he has some kind of mutation. After they reach school, he thanks her for saving him. If it weren't for her, he'd be greeting his dad. She gives him a big smile and says he's welcome. He thinks she looked really cute just now. As she's leaving, he tells her it's best not to use the watch. Something feels off. He has a feeling that if they use it too much, something bad might happen. She agrees. Next day, Yuki texts him and says she's freezing time. Hiroki asks where was her self-control. She answers it's better than being late, and she told him so he wouldn't freak out when time froze. Hiroki now knows she's the kind to act first, thinks later. At school, the teacher suddenly announces a pop quiz. Anyone who fails stays behind after classes. He then says start. Hiroki thinks his homeroom teacher is too intense. The teacher writes something on the board then says they have 30 minutes. But before he finishes, he freezes. Hiroki's surprised and figured it must be Yuki. He looks at her desk and sees her peeking at another student's answers. Hiroki panics. He tells her that's cheating. She says she already flunked and doesn't want to stay for the after-school hell special. Hiroki thinks he can't let her become a cheater, so he tells her to copy his answers instead. He says if he's offering, it's not cheating. She asks what he's even talking about. That's still cheating. Hiroki says it's not like she has a leg to stand on. She thanks him anyway, starts copying his answers and says she can remain on the straight and narrow. From that day on, the two use their time-stop powers for their personal gains, such as getting out of jams, making school life a little more fun, or whenever Hiroki ran into trouble with bullies, Yuki would step in to help. We skip forward to the day before their school trip. Yuki asks Hiroki where his group plans to go during free time. He says they'll sneak off to animate. Yuki thinks that's boring and says her group is heading to a Starbucks. Hiroki laughs, saying it looks like either of them has anything exciting planned. Just as Yuki starts to suggest something, Hiroki proposes visiting an art museum nearby. His dad's work is on display there. Yuki is surprised to learn his dad was an artist. Hiroki explains that he didn't sell much, and that the museum is the only place showing his work. Then he hesitates, saying maybe it's a weird idea and they should do something else. Yuki insists they go. It would be a waste not to. If you feel like it, then do it, she says. So it's decided. On the day of the trip, they freeze time and head to the museum. As they walk toward the exhibit, Yuki asks what kind of paintings his dad made. Hiroki admits he doesn't remember. He was just a kid when he saw one of his paintings. After searching, they find the gallery and enter. The painting stuns them both. Hiroki asks if it reminds Yuki of a world where time is stopped. She agrees. Later, Yuki asks what his dad was like. Hiroki says he died when he was young, so he doesn't remember much. His dad didn't talk and left everything like raising him, to his mom. All he ever did was paint. His mom only complains about him. Most people would have called him a failure, but to Hiroki, watching him paint made him look strangely cool. Yuki steps closer to Hiroki, and he flinches. She asks what's wrong. He says it's nothing. He's just never told anyone about this. Yuki pauses, then says she likes his dad's paintings. Suddenly, people start moving again. They remember they only had 20 minutes. Hiroki says they might make it back if they run, but Yuki suggests they keep sightseeing since they're already out. The day continues with Yuki and Hiroki exploring different spots and having fun. Later, they regroup with classmates at the mountains. Yuki admires the view, but just as she's about to wander off, a boy approaches Hiroki and says Ryoto, his bully, is calling him. The boy leads him to a secluded area where Ryoto and the others are waiting. Hiroki asks if they're allowed to be there. Ryoto says it's fine if he says it's fine, then grabs Hiroki and forces him to look down the cliff. Hiroki, terrified of heights, starts to panic. Ryoto pushes and pulls him, mocking him. Hiroki trembles as they insult him. Yuki appears and tells them to stop bullying him. Ryoto asks what she's doing and points out they've been hanging out a lot. Does she like him? She says they're not talking about that. Then she freezes time. She tells Hiroki she's had enough and wants Ryoto to squirm just once. They drag Ryoto to the edge and plan to resume time while he's leaning against the railing. Yuki calls it Operation Surprise Idiot. You're at the edge of a cliff. Hiroki hesitates, but Yuki assures him they won't actually hurt him. After a moment, Hiroki agrees. He wants to see Ryoto's reaction too. Yuki tries to lean him against the railing, but accidentally lets go of his shirt. Ryoto falls and lands on the rotten railing, then froze midair. Both Hiroki and Yuki are horrified. The railing had snapped. Hiroki asks if Ryoto will die when time resumes. He tries to reach him but fails. With 3 minutes left, they rush to find a stick. Yuki tries to hook his shoe but only pushes him further. They're petrified. She tries again, but he's too far. They check the time. Only 10 seconds left. When time resumes, Ryoto realizes he's suspended in the air. Hiroki and Yuki know what's about to happen. Ryoto's friends rush to help but can't reach him. They see that he fell, so his friend tells him to call their teacher. Hiroki looks at Yuki, and she's trembling from the shock. Please like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.